Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is Terrence Ray, back at you with another weekly stock market update. So let's get right to it. We already got the futures market open on this Sunday, and currently we actually had the S&P 500 futures up forward slash ES. It's up about 0.5%. So roughly the 37 handles right now. You can see got a little gap up currently. We got the NASDAQ futures up about 0.86%. You can see them right here. We got forward slash YM, which is the Dow futures up about 100 handles. Pull up that chart and see what it looks like. And then we got the Russell futures up a little bit right here, which is up about, 0.5%, about 13 handles. So on this Sunday, we can see that the futures are showing green, and also Bitcoin, if we want to pull up the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin is up about 4%. Yeah, up about 4,200 bucks. It's back up over 100. So which is a good sign for crypto. So I expect maybe tomorrow morning when the stock market opens, maybe we'll get a little bit of an update tomorrow, just a little bit of a pullback. Now the for the week, the expected move in the SPX is $116.68, which is a pretty big move. So anytime you see volatility up, which if we were to look at the VIX, you can see how the VIX ended on last Friday. Actually, it went higher and then pulled back. So we got a VIX right now of 19. So we should expect to see some movement tomorrow in the market. Now I want to talk about IWM. I do have a short call spread in IWM, and I want to talk about what I expect out of IWM, which is the ETF of the Russell 2000. Now I basically got short here because of, let's hide this drawing, was like right here. So I seen like this double top, kind of like this down move, pull back, and you got a low, and then it came back. I got short right around in here, and it popped up, and I rolled out my option, my spread. So I rolled it out in time, and you can see we got the down move. And I talked about, the harmonic pattern that it had formed in doing so. So I'm bringing the drawing back up. And now at this point, I'm trading to Fibonacci extension levels to the downside. So you can see it came here where it made the lower low. It pulled back, but it did not take out the beginning of the pattern and then tailed back off lower. And you can see right here where it hit the 100%, wicked, and bounced. Now, what I expect for this week, maybe a little bit continuation of the up move on Monday, maybe somewhere up into here. But I do think maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, especially if the shutdown continues. I seen some news earlier that they are in talks, so maybe they'll end it. Now, if they end the shutdown, possibly maybe the stock market gets a rip just off of that news, right? And my thesis will be wrong. However, if we see the market continue to trend lower, then I think that's the market telling us, pretty much what the news is going to be. So tomorrow, I expect Monday for it to be up into here, especially if it gaps up. But I am still expecting for that gap to close. I do think that we'll get down here to the 1618 before this is all over, said and done with. So with that being said, I am a little bearish for this week and maybe next week overall, right? And if you were to look at this on a weekly, this is a daily chart. So let's take this off. Let's look at this on a weekly. Just want to show you guys what it looks like long term. So you got 2 weeks of red candlesticks right here. And, I just expect to get another red candlestick. I expect to get them in threes. So we'll see. Now, I do have 2 stocks, possibly 3 that I am watching this week. I do think that there's always something to buy. Everything ain't going down. Colgate popped up on the scan. Look at that. Now, this was last week. In the midst of all that downward action, Colgate popped. I do think, now, if you were to look at the only thing that's in its way, this is the 50-day moving average right here. I do think we'll get up. Now, if we get up and take out this high right here, which is right around, let's call it $80, about $80.45. I think it can move higher. So I would almost target that 80.43. That's the high of this candlestick right here. And it closed at what, 78.76. So I'll be watching Colgate. See if I can pull something out of this. Let's see if it got earnings. No earnings coming up. So pretty much you got an IV rank of 36. So you can buy shares, do a cover call, sell a call against it. Selling puts is even in play. Let's see if there's not a whole lot of juice in here. If you go out 40 days, you got to sell the 77 and a half right here, this 38 delta. I don't know if I like the risk, the buying power that'll eat up. And if you don't do that one, if you went shorter term, I don't advise selling the front month with only 12 days. So the best play probably here is maybe a cover call, buying the shares, and then maybe selling the 82 and a half, selling that 31 delta. But that's the play. I like this chart right here in Colgate. Now I got another one. Now I don't know news wise what's going on with Hertz, but I want you to look at this. I'm gonna draw this up live, pull it up on the scan I ran. Now if I take everything, I'm gonna hide all of these indicators, and I just want to see it just like this. You see this channel right here? So you got this big green candlestick. This is a weekly chart. And then if I take a trend line, we're gonna go from this top right here. Well, I actually already got it on there. I'll delete that. So you can see I already had it drawn in. See that right there? A nice pennant, or what you can call that a pennant, you can call it a flag, whatever you want. Just you look like if you were to watch turn on a football game or something, you see the flag out there. Look at that. Here's your pole. And you see how this one was kind of similar to this one down here at the bottom right here. Same thing. So if I was to draw this is exactly similar. We're looking at it. See how we're looking at this right here. Look at the bottom. You guys can see that. See that right there. And you see how see it went up. So you had that and then it pulled back, chop, got a touch, touch, touch. Then it came here and then broke higher. So I'm expecting maybe possibly to get that same thing here, another move higher. So your next levels maybe as far as support and resistance to the upside will look something like I'll draw, highlight maybe right around in this area right here. So right around maybe $11. So if you can get a break here, you may go all the way up to 11. So one possible way of trading this is maybe put your stop down here below, maybe maybe $4 or 4.5, something like that. Maybe below this little trend line right here. And then maybe take a stop. A take profit maybe at $9 or 10 or even possibly 11. So those are the two stocks. Like if I gotta get something long, I'd be looking at something like these, either Colgate or Hertz. I like this Colgate, this Hertz setup. I don't know if there's some news out in Hertz or something like that. Um, but I do like the chart setup, right? Now, another one that I do want to talk about, and this one isn't per se like trading this week, but this might just be an opportunity later on down the line or something to dollar cost average in, maybe long term. We're gonna talk Palantir. Pull up this daily chart. Go. Now, we all know that Palantir has been killing it kind of mad at myself. I remember talking about this stock like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, honestly. Back when it was like down here around like $20 or something. But I had no idea. I didn't know it was gonna do this. Now, we may be getting the opportunity to get now look at this gap up here, right? I'll pull this over. You got a hole up here. Basically from 205, we'll call it what's that? We'll call this 20, we'll just say 205 to 195, about a $10 gap. Now the only thing you don't know is what? Like if it's gonna pull higher and just close it and then go down. We don't know. I do think that that gap will get filled, but I don't know when. So if you're a believer in Palantir, if you liked it at 205 or 207, you gotta love it down here at 177. I do think we'll get some more downward action, even though I'm not sure. I would like to see some more downward action, get some better buying opportunities. But this is one that I'll keep. I think I put Palantir. Yeah, I put Palantir on my overall list that I watch, so I can watch it on a consistent basis. I did scalp it in another account on Friday. I seen it was oversold. Like if we were to look at the intraday, let's look at the hourly. Excuse me. And then you can see down here, like when I seen this down, I seen it break down here. I got in somewhere right around here and scalped a few bucks on the intraday. But I do think that this hole will get filled at some point. So this is one, Palantir is one to look at maybe long term. I don't think it's going away. So that's something. And that's pretty much it for this week. XLI still is in this wedge. I think on my last video I talked about it. I thought it was gonna break out. We never did get to break out, but it's staying within this long channel. I do think at some point, if it ever breaks back here and takes out these highs, I think it'll run. That's your industrial sector. Now, one thing to do is you can pull up or Google the stocks that make up the XLI, the top 10 in the industrial sector, and look to see if they're moving when the XLI starts to move. That's a great way to find something to trade. If you're somebody that's looking for stuff to buy and you don't really do a whole lot of shorting. And of course, I'm watching Bitcoin and I'm watching Solana. Solana is up like 5% right now because Bitcoin is up. So Solana is up. Let's look at the weekly. I don't know if I believe that it's going to stay up, but it is up 5% right now. And currently in SUI is up. That's another one that I have started to accumulate, in my wallet, in my Phantom wallet. So we'll continue to watch those. So, hey guys, hopefully you got some out of the video. Let me know what stocks you're watching this week. Uh, Give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, and share the video, and then comment below what you looking at, what you hoping to get into this week. And with that being said, guys, I'm out. Peace.